All right, we are coming into Lincoln right now, and I am going to drive straight through so you can see the whole town, and then I'm going to get out and see some details. So we'll have a nice, probably long video today. So if you didn't catch it, this is Rob Travels with Dottie, and Dottie and I are in Lincoln, New Mexico, the home of, this is where Billy the Kid became famous, and the home of the Lincoln County Wars. And if you're interested in that, there is a great movie called Young Guns with some young stars in it from a long time ago. Kiefer Sutherland and the brothers Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez. His brother plays Billy the Kid. It's an exciting movie that is actually, there's a lot of historical accuracies, but it takes place right here in Lincoln. The whole thing takes place here in Lincoln, New Mexico. And a lot of the buildings and things have been preserved. So, and I know you're starting to see some of these buildings here on the right and left. We're in Lincoln, which was once described by the U.S. president of the town. This stretch of road right here was, he said it's the most dangerous road in the whole country. So that's because of the number of gunfights and murders and ambushes and all kinds of things that happened in this town back then. It was very, very dangerous. So Dottie and I are gonna get out of the car after we go all the way through here, and we're gonna check this whole place out. Probably gonna be doing a lot of walking. Hi. This is probably the best known structure up here, the old county courthouse, and there's lots to see inside. I notice there's, you see no parking between the signs, and that's to keep the front of it clear because it's probably the most photographed building here in Lincoln. And if you got, it kind of ruins it if there are cars in front of it. So that's why I imagine there's no parking there.
Which way? She has to church? That was across from the visitor. Okay. Is it almost one?
Purchase tickets on the left. We need to purchase a ticket, so it's at the visitor center. There's the Wortley Hotel, and it mentions in 1881 Sheriff Pat Garrett was the proprietor here. So apparently it's a private residence now. And hopefully we can get a map at the visitor center, because there's an old broken down building here. I have no idea what it is. Hopefully maybe there's a sign, but if not, we'll get a map. We'll figure it out. And I don't see any no trespassing signs. Wow. But I still feel kind of funny about walking up in there because it's somebody's property. So I'm still coming to grips with the fact that I'm walking the same street that Billy the Kid walked. So what is here? National Historic Landmark. Well, we'll have to check that out after we go to the visitor center. Site of the McSween home opening a law office in Lincoln in 1875, Alex McSween built an old adobe into a 10-room house. On July 19, 1878, Pepin's posse fired on it to oust inmates, including leading victim of the strategy was McSween himself. The burnout house was never rebuilt. This is where it was. And Billy the Kid was one of that escaped. And I think he was shot, got a minor wound, but he got out. So this is the Tunstall McQueen store. It's a focal point in the Lincoln County War in which both partners were slain. Despite looting by Seven Rivers Group, building continued as a store under pioneer merchants, notably John Penfield. Wow. Well, that's a very famous store. If you watch the movie, the man that owned that store was an Englishman that hired the young guns, including Billy the Kid, to help him on his ranch and provide protection. And he had the nerve to open a store in town here, and the powers that be already had a store, and it set up the dispute that led to the Lincoln County War and his ultimate murder or assassination. And Billy the Kid and his friends, called self-proclaimed the Regulators, exacted revenge. So this is one of the oldest structures in town. It said built in the 1850s, its 6 walls protected Spanish Americans against the Apaches. So 150 years ago, this was used to protect people from the Apaches. And as it turns out, the Apaches needed more protection from us than in them. And this was the refuge. And people would gather in here to protect themselves. A big, thick door. Definitely an original structure, that's for sure. So I want the 2-day for here in Fort Stanton.
Okay, the
That's
$10.
$10. Yeah.
You'll be in the area tomorrow?
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to be here until the middle of next week.
That's the advantage of the $10 ticket. You can come back to both sites
Okay.
Tomorrow. That's one $10 ticket. I'll ring you up and then you can plug your card in.
Yeah, I've been excited about coming here for a pretty long time. I'm fascinated by the history.
The weather's been pretty good the last few days.
The weather's beautiful.
This is where we are, number 6, the Visitor Center. The Tunstall Museum is about 100 yards west. Courthouse is about a quarter mile west. There's parking all along both sides of the street, and there's a parking lot beside the courthouse if you want to drive. The Montano store, Convento, and San Juan Church are about.
And isn't Tunstall's grave behind?
Yes, if you go down the alley, there's 10 or 12 people buried out back, but the only 2 marked graves are John Tunstall's and Alexander McSween's.
Now, and isn't there a German encampment near here?
That's Fort Stanton.
Oh, that's where the Germans were that were relocated from the ship?
They were, there is a separate exhibit on the Columbus. The camp was across the river from the fort proper.
Gotcha. Okay.
And you can't go over there. They do give guided tours a couple times a year, but there is an overlook with a sign so you can see part of the camp across the river off in the distance. 5 is that building over there on the other side of the courtyards, the Luna House. It's a Western art exhibit. Do you know how to get to Fort Stanton from here?
Yeah. I'm staying at Rob Jagger, so I'm practically right next to it.
Yeah, it's just a couple miles down the road.
So I just show them the map that says paid when I go into the places that require a ticket?
Yes, sir. And that's here and at Fort Stanton. This will be your ticket at Fort Stanton as well. Both sites will close at 4 p.m. today and tomorrow.
Okay.
Both sites will open at 10 a.m. tomorrow. You can go in early or stay after 4 if you like. The parade ground at Fort Stanton is quite large, and it'll stay open.
Yeah, I just was 2 weeks up at Fort Sumner, that area. That was fascinating, and I've been dying to get here, so I'm very excited. Thank you.
We have a cinema around the corner on the right through the green double doors. That video starts over every half hour on the hour. Be about another 25 minutes. You can see some of the buildings if you like, and then come back.
And I'm assuming, but I always have to ask, it's okay to film?
Yes,
I have a YouTube travel channel.
as long as it's not commercial film.
Yeah, it's
What is your zip code?
89060.
Okay, thank you.
The Army.
Allá está un mes con tipapos.
1849 Colt pocket pistol. So John Henry Tunstall was born on March 6, 1853. And he's the guy that hired Billy the Kid. In the movie, he's a guy in his 40s, but in reality, he was only a few years, I think he was 26, and Billy the Kid was just barely 20, so they were a lot closer in age than the movie would suggest. About 9 o'clock in the morning on April 1st, 1878, the regulators, which included Billy, and the Tunstall store, which we're going to see soon here, saw Sheriff Brady and 4 of his deputies walking down the street. The men rushed outside and unleashed a barrage of bullets with little regard for many innocent bystanders. When the smoke cleared, Sheriff Brady and Deputy George Hinman lay dead in the street. And you know what's important to understand about that, that sounds horrible and criminal, but once Tunstall was assassinated by the rival gang here, the sheriff was in the pocket of the rival gang, and I believe that Billy and his co-workers, which are known collectively as the regulators, I think they were deputized as marshals with warrants to arrest the people that did it, which they did. They brought them in to Sheriff Brady, and Sheriff Brady promptly released them. So the regulators and Billy came to the conclusion that the only way justice was going to be served is if they served it. So this map is going to help us locate all the things that are going to be interesting. The first thing I'll do is read what this says here. It's an old looking building. There's a rock. Why is a rock here? Oh, on December 1939, the German passenger liner SS Columbus was scuttled in the Atlantic Ocean, 400 miles east of New York City. There was a crew of 600. They were rescued and went through Ellis Island. They ended up here at Fort Stanton. They were held first as distressed seamen, and then when the United States entered World War II as internees. With extremely rare exceptions, the relationship between the internees, Border Patrol guards, and local citizens remained friendly and steady, because these were not soldiers. These were civilian employees that worked on an ocean liner, although they were German. This rock here, local legend has this large rock carved with the German Lloyd Line coat of arms and SS Columbus. Chiseled into it, was presented to the citizens of Lincoln sometime during the German sailors' internment as a gesture of recognizing the village's continuing goodwill towards the crew of the Columbus. That's pretty extraordinary. And here's the rock. And during that time of World War II, and how much the Germans were despised, it's remarkable that this community, even though they were civilians, they were still Germans, and they were embraced by the community, and that's something. I think the two big things to see here will be the general store, and that figured prominently in the movie. And behind the store is the gravesite, John Tunstall gravesite. And that was, again, to remind you, the employer and mentor of Billy the Kid. Now, accounts vary. And, I've heard an account that the mentor relationship was greatly exaggerated. And it really wasn't true. And then I've heard accounts where it absolutely was true. So you never really know. It's probably more pleasant to think of there being that kind of relationship that you see in the movie. And one of the reasons I think they used an actor that was considerably older than the actual guy was it's more believable. That mentoring relationship was more believable, because in reality the ages were so close between Tunstall and Billy the Kid.
Hello.
Hi.
Very good. I see you. Where are you from, sir?
I'm a full-time RV nomad, retired.
Good for you. Where did you start out at?
Virginia is where I retired from,
really?
And I've been wandering around New Mexico since middle of July.
You can do it real easy. There's a lot to see here.
Yeah, the state parks are wonderful.
They are.
By the way, I'm recording for my travel channel, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
And I've become immersed and fascinated since I've come to New Mexico about the Lincoln County Wars and the legend of Billy the Kid.
Yeah.
I just spent 2 weeks up in Fort Sumner.
Oh, did you?
And now I'm down here, and I'm fascinated.
Well, this is where he worked and started the Dead War.
Yeah, this is the famous Tunstall store, and his grave's out back, right?
Tunstall and McSween both. Back
Right. And I saw the site where McSween's house was, where got burned down.
Where's it at?
Well, there was a little sign as I walked by. Yeah.
The reason I say that like that is they're not absolutely certain.
Right.
Fact that that's the spot. Because,
well, same with Billy's grave
Yeah,
in
well,
Fort
that-
Sumner. They're
that's
not.
another
That's
thing.
probably not his exact grave site,
Yeah.
but it's in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Well, you know, the problem with Billy was the dadgum thing. The cemetery flooded several times.
Right.
They had those coffins floating around everywhere. They didn't know who was who.
Well, that whole valley flooded
Yeah,
big time, and
yeah.
there's nothing left of the fort. And that was pretty fascinating.
Yep.
But this is the famous store.
Yeah.
This is it. So I'm going to take a look around.
Sure. Take your time.
Thank you.
Any questions, don't hesitate to ask.
Oh, in the middle, that's the original flooring, huh?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That's great. Hey guys, check this flooring out. That's the original flooring that these famous guys walked on. There's J.H. Tunstall and Company merchants. J.H. Tunstall and Company. Absolutely fascinating. And we'll stick to the walkways.
Did you see that hole in the floor back here?
No, I didn't.
Go in this room back here. Behind me, go into that room, you'll see a hole in the floor.
What's that?
That's where they hid Billy the Kid after they shot him out here in the street.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'll take a look. So we're gonna go find the hole in the floor. Be very careful not to touch anything. This is all original. Oh, there's the hole in the floor. What am I talking about? There it is. And that's where they hid Billy the Kid after he was shot. There it is, guys. Guys, Billy the Kid was hiding right down there. Amazing. And here's a display of the regulators. Here's the main part of the store. You can buy rope, spooled cotton. I didn't realize the store was this big. Look at this. No wonder the existing factions were upset. He put in this, you know, he put it in a Walmart. He put it in a big store. And it must have taken a lot of business from them, and they were pissed. I'm having trouble getting over the fact that all these famous guys walked these floors.
Very floors. Yeah, if you step on the old floor right there, yeah, they did.
Just, I know I'm not supposed to, just for a second, so I can say I stood there.
Yeah. If you turn around and behind you there, you see the floor is different.
Yeah.
That's where the merchant table was. This was the bank. This part was the bank.
Oh, okay, so this part was the bank, and then for therefore was the store.
That wall
Okay.
is still comes to it.
Wow.
So you're from Virginia. What did you retire from? The government?
Yeah, well, county government.
Oh, county?
County
Where were
government. I was in Fairfax, Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
Fairfax
I
County.
love Fairfax. I used to live in, what the hell is that? Out 66. Oh,
Manassas, yeah.
well, no, past Manassas. The next town
Front
down.
Royal or
Front Royal.
Front Royal, yeah, that's out there.
Yes, sir. I see that. Very good. Where are you guys from?
Texas.
Where
Wow,
at?
this.
Wow, that was amazing. So let's see how we're doing on battery life, because we definitely don't want to run out of battery. We're getting there. It's flashing, so we're gonna sit down here, stop the recording, put in a fresh battery. How's that sound? Well, here we are at the back of the Tunstall store, and I'm looking for the gravesite, and I think I see some crosses up here. This is the back of the store. This is it. John Tunstall, 1853 through 1878. I guess I'm standing on where he's buried, and McSween, his partner, lawyer, friend, both of them murdered and laid to rest right here. Again, this is the McSween home where the standoff was, and they burned him out. This is where McSween was killed, and Billy escaped. It was in this empty lot here. And as the guy mentioned, they weren't 100% sure this is the exact location, but would have been pretty close. Well, let's check out this trail down here and see what they got. If you want to have a picnic, they got a couple of picnic tables down here. Very nice and shady. By the way, it's a beautiful day. It's probably 70 degrees at the most. Well, I don't have time or enough batteries to go on a long hike here, but there's a creek down there that I can hear and kind of see through the trees. You probably can't see it, but be an interesting hike for another time. Looks like kind of a dried up creek down there. And then there's some kind of old machine down there I can see through the vegetation. Looks pretty old. So this is the Murphy faction during the Lincoln County War, the opposite side of Billy, the Murphy Dolan store.
No, it's, oh, yes. Oh, you're good, sir.
All right, thank you.
Yes, let's wait. Your turn. That is good. Yes, and your big on your house.
Definitely original flooring again. You can take a look at that. Original flooring.
you know, he built a store, he built a Tunstall, was it? No, yes, okay. And so he also had a bank down there. Murphy here did not like that, him and his partners, because they were in competition then. He wanted it all. He didn't want competition. And so that's what started.
It's a pretty big safe. There's that famous picture of Billy. It was while ascending this staircase that Billy the Kid started his escape. There are many theories about what occurred. One possible scenario reportedly recounted Billy himself was that the outlaw freed one of his hands while on the privy, and he struck Deputy Bell over the head on top of the staircase, wresting his own gun from him. Bell then turned to run down the staircase, and Billy shot him to prevent him from alerting Olinger. He staggered out the back door of the courthouse and died almost instantly. So he was held up here at the top of the stairs. Ballot box. It's the courthouse. Now there's a theory that the shooting took place up here on the top and then another one at the bottom, but one of the accounts that I saw showed underneath this plywood, they did some testing and found some blood up here. But the majority believe is the deputy tried to escape Billy after he took his gun. He ran down here to get the other deputy who was across the street. And when he got here, he was shot. And there was blood at the bottom here. And he went out, probably this door to the right or this one back here. I don't know if we're allowed to go out here. We'll see. No, it's locked. We'll have to walk around. I sure did. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You appreciate you coming.
Now, I didn't see anything about it in there, but I saw in my research there's a marker in back where the second deputy was coming from across the street here. I think I see the marker. Oh, maybe not. Oh, I see it. So J.W. Bell was died right here. Now I'll have to research it again, but I was thinking this was the guy that Billy shot with a shotgun from that window up there. If it wasn't J.W. Bell, it was the other deputy, where Billy was upstairs with that deputy's shotgun that he stole from the armory, and he called his name, and he shot him from upstairs. So I believe that's J.W. Bell, but I'll confirm that. This is definitely one of the deputies. It could be the one he shot on the stairs and he made it out here and dropped here. But I'll look that up, and I'll put some text in this part of the video giving the straight story. This is another view of both the courthouse and Dolan headquarters. I believe they also had their store in here at one time, and that was in direct competition to the store that we were just in, and a big part of the reason for the dispute, which led to all the bloodshed. Hi. What kind of food do you have?
We have a food truck out here, man. Right
It's
past the stage.
okay.
Yeah, but she's got great green chili cheeseburgers, all
right.
kinds of stuff.
I'll check it out.
Sir?
Can I get a cheeseburger rare? Can you cook it rare?
Rare?
Yeah. I'll take responsibility for the illness if it happens.
It's posted there.
And what do you have for drinks?
We have it's Sprite, Dr. Pepper, Diet Coke, Coke.
I'll take a Diet Dr. Pepper. I haven't had one of those in ages.
Okay.
Okay. How do you want me
Rare.
Rare.
Just brown it on your side a little.
Well,
Like cook it.
cook it, but rare in the middle.
Yeah. I know what he's talking about.
Okay.
Okay, so the cheeseburger. Would you like mustard or mayonnaise?
Mayonnaise.
And all the vegetables?
Yeah. No pickles, though.
Is that gonna be all?
That's it.
Be $16.88.
And what's left is yours, including that.
Okay.
Thank you. So I'll just, will you call or when it's
I'll
ready?
take it to you.
Okay. There's the lunch. I don't drink soda very often, but Diet Dr. Pepper. It's okay every once in a while. Maybe once a month or so. Although I did have a Diet Coke yesterday and when I did the Oso Grill. So those of you that saw that.
Guys, how's it going?
Ooh, that looks very good. Look at that. Mmm. Very good. And as usual, I will eat about half of this and then wrap it up and have the other half for dinner. But lots of restaurants won't cook a rare burger, but if you take a close look at this, I ordered it rare and they gave it to me rare. I'll take my chances.
I think if that council would missions might start stepping up and doing, well, when I just always know when I was in charge of
And I believe this will finish my video for Lincoln. I hope you enjoyed it.